Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Annie and this is Unity Consciousness. Thank you so much for stopping by today. I'd like to welcome our new subscribers and have a special shout out for Matthew. Thank you so much for joining us today. Also, I'd like to thank those of you who are returning for this week's energy update. So let's get started. As we spoke about last week, today we have an opposition between Venus, which is in Scorpio, and Jupiter, which is in Taurus. We spoke about that last week. This new moon energy will continue to continue to show us this opposition between those two entities and the pivot between, stabilizing force and some secrets or some things that may be hidden that you need to unearth. So that energy, again, perfects today, but what will be with us with the new moon that we're going to discuss in just a minute. Now, tomorrow, before we get to that new moon, we've got Mercury, which it's literally standing still because Mercury is also going to go retrograde this week. Standing still in the sky in the sign of Capricorn is sextile Venus. I really like this energy. It's very warm and pleasant exchanges. You're going to find that communications are free-flowing and you can go to the depth if you need to, because that's Venus in Scorpio, and Mercury in Capricorn is very practical. So you can combine those energies well to have just a really wonderful, pleasant exchange. It's just very copacetic energy, that's for sure. Then on Tuesday, 12/12 portal is active, we will have our new moon in Sagittarius, which is ruled by Jupiter. New moons always mean new intentions, so we want to set a new intention, and we want to set a new intention surrounding the energy of Sagittarius, because this is a new moon in Sagittarius. So big ideas, getting the bigger picture, travel, higher mind. These are all Sagittarian concepts. Looking out for the little guy, being very outspoken for the underdog. That's also a Sagittarius theme. Now, while I'd like to say this is all sunshine and rainbows because Jupiter's the ruler of this new moon, that's certainly not the case. So I have to be honest with you here. The sun and moon, which makes it a new moon, are conjunct in the sky. They're together. And they are square Neptune. And I know Neptune just went direct, and there were some insights, especially for me and those that I know, had a lot of insight last week. Well, guess what? That fogginess is coming back in. It's going to cloud this new moon. Now, the sun is going to square with perfection, square Neptune on Saturday of this week, but this new moon is going to kick off this energy. Like I said, it's going to be real draining. It feels like waste, just waste. When I sit with this energy, it just feels wasted. Feels like, almost like with Jupiter being at the helm, Jupiter being in charge of this new moon, you can feel where you've wasted time, wasted energy, wasted. Things have been wasted, and that's coming to the forefront. Maybe that's what's expanding, but the Jupiter is expanding in the process of this new moon as it unfolds. But it's just, your intuition's not going to be on point. And it just feels very wasteful to me. Maybe some disappointment. You're really not going to be able to depend on your intuition either. However, there is a bright spot here. With all that said, the sun and moon are going to trine the north node. So there's karmic themes here. And also, I would like to impress to please go with the flow as best you can, because it is karmic in nature. This is the north node. It's taking us to our greatest good, regardless. If it is a letdown of some kind or an appreciation for lost days, lost efforts, lost energy, it's still getting you to the awareness or the appreciation of the awareness of that situation so that you can continue to move forward in that north node way, on that trajectory to your greatest good. So just know, whatever's unfolding, please go with that. Sit with that energy. because that North Node is really helping me to understand that these karmic things that are coming in are helping us really move closer towards our North Node and that of the collective as well. Now, let's talk about the Jupiter influence. As I mentioned, this new moon is ruled by Jupiter, and even though we've got that opposition with Venus, like I said, that is very strong today. Jupiter is trine Mercury and sextile Saturn. So Jupiter itself, aside from the opposition with Venus, is really in a good place and making good connections with those other planets. So it's positive insight for sure. Definitely positive insight. And Saturn's helping us to bridge that gap, I believe, because Saturn is making positive connection to Venus, even though Venus is opposed Jupiter, and Saturn is making a positive impact with Jupiter. So I think Saturn's helping us to bridge the gap. We're pausing where we need to. We're taking responsibility where we need to. So I do believe by the time the sun sets on this new moon energy, which again is going to be very potent, 3 days to 2 weeks, but could be up to 6 months for it to completely unfold. And then again, will be a full moon at the end of that period of time in May of next year. Then by the time the sun sets on this lunation, I do believe that it's going to be, you'll have an optimistic view of it, regardless of that Neptune influence. Then on Tuesday of this week, is it Tuesday? The 12th, I believe it's Tuesday, Mercury is going to go retrograde in the sign of Capricorn. We've talked about this. It's going to go direct on the 1st of January and completely out of shadow on the 20th of January. You know the rules. Mercury in retrograde tells us don't instigate any new contracts, no new electronics, anything that Mercury governs. You really don't want to begin something new under that influence. Because Mercury is going retrograde, you're going to revisit it a couple of more times. I'm not saying you can't do it. By all means, please do. But you're more than likely going to be rediscussing, redoing, whatever. Whatever's good you've instigated, you're going to be revisiting it a couple of times until Mercury comes out of shadow, like I said, on the 20th of January. Now, this Mercury retrograde season, I'm not a fan of Mercury retrograde other than for reviewing things and revisiting things so that you can get it right and emerge from this retrograde cycle even stronger than before. But really what's exciting about this is we have the higher and lower benefics, both in harmony with Mercury, while Mercury's standing still and going retrograde. So that influence is going to carry us through this entire Mercury retrograde season. What does that mean? That means the two planets, the higher, lower benefic, that's Venus and that's Jupiter. They are flowing positive. Venus is sextile, Jupiter is trine. So I really like it. Be prepared. So the fact that it's a retrograde, something could be returning, and I almost see it as a missed opportunity, or because there's a benefit here, a missed opportunity that you've completely given up on that's come back around so that you can grasp it, right? So that you can take advantage of it. Mercury in Capricorn is extremely practical. I think because Mercury is now in Capricorn, going to retrograde back to Sagittarius, and then going to go direct and move back through those end degrees of Sagittarius and then back into Capricorn, I truly do believe we are pivoting back to see the big picture, that Sagittarius theme. Then we're going to go forward and we're going to apply practical knowledge that we've gained, and maybe even pivot back to grab some of that practical knowledge from our past. And we're going to apply it to whatever is presented to us that's beneficial to us over the course of this retrograde season so that we can make the best of it. The moon, I really think this new moon can give us, because it is Sagittarius, it's going to give us a big picture vision or an idea of what the big picture really is. And the Mercury retrograde season is going to help us with the details, the integration of that big picture, pivoting back to it, and then applying practical knowledge as we move forward so that we can take full advantage of whatever that Mercury retrograde season brings to us from that big picture philosophy and theme, so that we can, again, attach that practical knowledge to it and use it to our advantage. Then, remember, the end of January, I said the 20th is when Mercury goes direct. Now, the end of January, we will have the last planet, which is Uranus, will be going direct, and we're going to be hitting the gas pedal. So now's the time to really be paying attention, as I mentioned in the last video. Take notes, journal, whatever it takes, because by the time we get to the mid-January point, mid to the third week of January, we are going to want to move. We are going to want to move. So pay close attention, take good notes, go with the flow as best you can. Now on Saturday of this week, as I mentioned, that Sun square Neptune perfects. So just be aware, that's going to be a real wonky day as far as energy goes. I'm confident of that. Now, I decided to use the Animal Spirit deck today, Kim Crayons, and the card that popped out, this is an interesting card for this week, is the Shark. Let's read what the book has to say. The shark is only dangerous when we don't acknowledge it. This card indicates that something big needs to be exposed. It's lurking in the depths and creating tension. Shark energy takes over us when we are hesitant to be honest, to be totally ourselves, or to say what we really want. It may be tempting to continue pretending nothing is wrong, but when shark energy is at play, we feel its presence encircling us. When in balance, it's intriguing, captivating, and mysterious. When out of balance, it is sneaky and destructive. To bring it back into balance, be honest. So we're being asked to be honest this week as we look at that big vision idea that comes in at the time of the new moon, so that we can step into that Mercury retrograde cycle, pivoting back and getting a better idea of what that big picture energy looks like for us, then applying practical knowledge moving forward so we could take advantage of it. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. That's all I have for you today. If you have any comments or questions, please post them in the comment box below. If you want to know when videos are being dropped, please do click the subscribe button. If you like this video, click the like button. And if you want to know, or if you want to co-create with me, good Lord, I'm out in space already, Mercury retrograde. If you want to co-create with me, please do share this video with others. Thank you so much for stopping by. It always is a better day with you in it. Happy Mercury retrograde, happy new moon, and happy Hanukkah. I missed that last week, so happy Hanukkah to all of those who celebrate Hanukkah. Have a fabulous week. Namaste.